Hello people of YouTube, it's your boy Skinny Penis with the next video, the Z-42, the new steel German destroyer. Amazing, dude, amazing. Actually someone asked me to play it too. I think it was like multiple people even. I mean obviously it's like the new ship. Um, some people want to know if they should even get it or if it's even worth anything. So yeah, we can test it out. It's like a hybrid between Harugumo and Daring, as a German version. It's not as good as either of the two ships really. Like Harugumo is way better at AG spamming obviously, and torpedoes are also better. Daring is just better at cap contesting, also better at AG spamming. Also the torpedoes are better. Like I don't know man, it's like both ships are kinda better at what they do. But Z-42 is by no means a bad destroyer. Like you have to remember that there's stuff like Alvaro de Bazan or Haaland or Druid or shit like that out there. While Z-42 actually gives you a wee bit more utility to play the game with. That's kind of like the thing. Um, the ship has pretty shit HE DPM. Like that's a given on German ships kind of at this point. That the HE is only salvageable because of the penetration sometimes. Like Hindenburg, for example, at least pens a lot. And has also pretty decent like DPM in general. So your HE DPM is more effective than on paper, because for example, like Colbert has high HE DPM, but against some ships, if they play fire prevention, you just don't seem to kill them anyways, because you don't penetrate anything but superstructure. So what you want on these kind of HE slingers is like fires. While the Germans can also like ignore fires and just penetrate straight up, like a Hindenburg farming you for 1 minute consistently is like doing 40-50k HE penetration damage alone, which is kind of good. But yeah, coming back to Z-42, it has the 6 km hydro, it has 6-2 conceal. It's like a bit worse than Z-52 in the concealment department, but what you get is actually usable smokes. Like the German smokes when I played Z-52, I already mentioned it, are like the worst by far. German smokes are complete and utter trash. Long cooldown, short smoke time. But the Z-42 doesn't suffer from that issue. Like you actually do have... wait a minute, what the fuck? What is he doing? He can, by the way, maybe see the HED, APDPM? Wait, is that a radar? No, it's a hydro. I was like maybe he spotted for a while longer, but it's very interesting that it's a smoke Delny without concealment. That, by the way, means that he's not healing any of the damage we put on him, so it's kind of like good to poke him. Oh wait, the submarine just killed him. Well, okay, I mean, World of Warships 2023, weird things happen. Some things happening here. Yeah. I don't know. Can't really comment on what currently happened. I guess submarines are a very fine addition to the game. Yeah, so Z-42 can actually contest around caps. Lots of maps and lots of caps offer a way to stay in it and hydro the entire cap for your team, for yourself, and with the short burst smokes you have way more options to poke or take fights with the enemy DD, because you have the disengage tool available more often. I have the feeling that there's no additional DD really here. Okay, there's a Yoshino. Very interesting. Gotta be a bit careful that I'm not running into his hydro. I think he's like... gonna torp this. The torpedoes are mediocre. I mean, it's German torps. They're fairly fast, or like decently fast, but they have pretty shit alpha, but good reload. So, at least you have a tool to stop people from rushing you, and occasionally you can get like 1 or 2 nice little torpedo hits for flooding on the enemy. Like that's something that the torps are essentially good for. Doesn't appear that this Yoshino is hydroing. He's also spotted now by my team. He is hydroing, he's slowing down and turning out. Here you can see what this ship is essentially all about. Like you want to be kinda on the broadside, flat broadside of an enemy ship, and start poking him with AP. Like the AP DPM is insane, especially at closer ranges. I mean, your AP penetration is dog shit, but your AP damage, or DPM, is crazy if you can use it. Which essentially just means that if you fight against destroyers, especially certain DDs that are fat, DDs that are clumsy and arm all your AP, are very, very nice food for this ship. Like, something like an Elbing, for example, gets kind of hard countered by that. The problem with that is that these fat destroyers that you fuse your AP on are kind of fucked anyway if they get spotted or are caught, so it's always like, is it really that high of an impact when the ships that you counter are already like really mediocre? That guy DCP'd, by the way. I have a smoke ready soon again, so I can like kinda just sit here and farm him a bit with HE. We can go into the spec afterwards, but I think, I mean, it's not 100% clear what's the best spec on this ship yet, because the debate of IFHE is kind of like interesting on it, because you would pen 30 and 32 millimeters suddenly. I personally am of the opinion that no IFHE is better, because the fires are way more important. Like for example on Ohio, I don't really penetrate his deck or side plating because of IFHE, but I also cuck my fire chance to such a low point. He's shooting me? Yeah, it's gonna turn out here. Dodge it a bit. We're running Luchens again. We could get the heal proc on it, which we could already on Elbing, but we can also get the gun proc, as you saw, and the gun proc on Z-42 you get really fast, since obviously you're spamming a whole bunch of shells. It's super easy to get it. Not hard at all. We already procced it just shooting in Ohio most of the time, and we're like kind of like 6-7 minutes into the game. Essentially, if you get 2 smokes on a battleship, you 100% proc it already if you can farm him from that smoke. Well, the Ohio is dead. I mean, he's completely alone. He's getting focused out by the carrier and the submarine. I think he also DCP'd already, so the submarine is just gonna home the torps into him and kill him. The HE Alpha is anemic, and that's also like a reason why I would say that IFHE isn't really the play. Like, why would you enable your HE DPM more if your HE DPM is essentially pure and utter trash, while you're cucking your fire chance to a level that you can't set fires on most of the most prominently played BBs? Like, the BBs that are played at the moment are lots of German BBs, like even Colombo, you couldn't pen, but then the Russian German BBs, the super BBs. Like, there's lots of shit that you can't penetrate with this. HE Alpha is so bad. I don't even do real damage to this. I'm gonna hydro him, and I'm gonna go above him and depth charge him out. It's kind of nice though on Z-42, like you have the hydro, so you have a better way of dealing with submarines. Oh, he dies to the depth charges already. Yep, he should be dead here. Yep, he's dead. We have to turn out though immediately because the Nevsky is coming in, which is kind of unfortunate. I mean, we can twerp like maybe his turnout. I'm still full HP though. I have 2 spots. I could drop some HP here to fight the Nevsky. Question is, how worth it is it really? I'm going to try it. Actually, I'm going to like poke his radar or force his radar out if he has it. He's gonna pop it now, huh? He didn't hit me, by the way, so actually I'm able to get the cap here. He doesn't have radar ready, as it seems. You're using AP as often as you can on this ship. It's kind of a given. If people angle up a bit. You have to see very, very flat broadsides though to actually armor all your AP or penetrate all your AP. Your AP penetration, as I mentioned before, is dog shit. But here I can penetrate most of my shells, let's say. So I'm doing like fairly okay-ish damage. So like the ship is a hybrid, but doesn't do anything like perfectly. So it's not like a great HE, not like a great AP farmer. The AP is very, very situational. But you do have the ability, as I said, to like use it more frequently with the short burst smokes. and also the hydro. Like you're not really in any sort of danger from torpedoes most of the times, which is pretty nice for a destroyer. Like not eating enemy torpedoes because you can spot them essentially 3 million light years away. It's pretty big. Smoke here again. Minotaur gets the great idea of shooting me. I have a problem. Throwing out the torps here and there, chugging it out. The Nevsky is most likely not gonna pop radar because he can't shoot me. It would be weird for him to randomly pop it, kinda. We could test if I can penetrate 50mm on the Colombo here, but I don't think I can. I mean, he's dead anyways. GG's. Enemy team is kinda running it one by one, which is great for us. Playing just in front of my team. I could play more aggressive if I want to, but you could see that there's like the Nevsky. I didn't know until now if the Minotaur is radar or smoke. Now it obviously turns out he's smoke, so I can play a bit more aggro. There's not 2 radars running around here. Yeah. Like it's not going to be a destroyer where a lot of average damage is possible. It's going to end up where normal DDs end up, 120, 130k average at best, most likely. I think even if you go full farm, it's... I guess if you completely cringe it out on full farm and you just play for full farm, you could get more. But the ship itself, like the gameplay, the game impact, how it works is not designed around you full farming people, like you going for a full farm spec and just like farming people at these kind of ranges the entire game without specking concealment and shit. It's not really designed around that, so actually got a flooding, which is pretty good, so I can catch up to him. Oh wait, he has a DCP. Malta's coming with the rockets. The submarine just killed him. It's amazing, dude, what submarines can do. He just fucking 40-50k the GK. Isn't that epic? Can't really hit him. Yeah, I mean, the gun arcs aren't the best, you know. Game is over. 86k average, or 86k damage. Barely any fires already. Like, if it was around IFHE, I would get probably 0 of those fires. Not a big fan of the ship, to be honest. Not a big fan. It is fairly decent. You can get decent game impact. I said it's like better than shit like Albaro or the Bazan or something. Just because you have more tools. Should you get it for steel is probably the question people are asking themselves. Well, I mean, if you have the steel left over and you have all the other important, or like let's say more, what's it called, impactful, broken, the stronger ships, like essentially the stronger ships. If you have all of them, you can get it. I mean, for example, if you're not a CV main, why would you get Franklin Delano Roosevelt? Doesn't make sense really if you don't play it in the end, so rather get the DD if you play DDs. But don't expect anything too special. Like, there's line tech tree ships that are more viable overall than this. You could just get a Harugumo or a Daring and you have mostly the same playstyle, just on a more effective ship. Yeah, I don't know. Not a big fan of this one. The gun angles, by the way, aren't the best too. Like, I've noticed it multiple times over. You have to give a fair lot of broadside to use all your guns. I don't really like this on destroyers because it opens you up to way more hits from battleships or for example, Venezia's, Nevsky's, Moskva's, cruisers in general. Like, the more angle you give on a on a DD, the easier it is for people to hit you. Like, it's kind of obvious. Our submarine has 3.7k base XP. Holy fucking shit, he's a griefer, dude. He's a fucking griefer. Well, we ended in the middle of the pack. I mean, didn't really do much here. We can go into the spec real quick, because that's a bit more interesting. But as I said, it's not clear yet what's the best spec, but you're not really losing too much, changing a lot. I think what you should play is definitely a concealment normal basic DD spec. It's kinda given on this ship. The German DDs don't have heals, it's the same as Elbing or Z. fucking up or being permanently outspotted by enemy destroyers kind of leads to you losing way more HP than you ideally like to hope. I mean, I guess on this DD you could get away with not taking concealment a bit easier because you have the fast smokes. But then you kind of need to play Superintendent because you're going to use 2 or 3 smokes at a time just to disengage or go unspotted. But things like Z or Elbing don't really work without concealment. You don't really get the value that you could with concealment. I run Fearless Brawl and AFT, and that's like the thing. I mean, potentially you could drop AFT for like, I don't know, more DPM, and or like you could drop AFT for like fire and AP DPM. That would be kind of viable. You could drop Fearless Brawl for AP DPM and fires. I would highly suggest that IFHE isn't making this ship more viable though. First of all, you don't really get a good spec out of it. You get a 1-pointer, like you get third traverse and IFHE if you drop a 4-pointer probably. Yeah, it's like your HE DPM is dog shit. Meaning, why would you enable it when your fires deal way more damage to battleships? And the argument that you then pen 30mm, which allows you to penetrate cruiser armor, is also like kind of wonky, because you don't want to fight certain cruisers or most cruisers in the first place in destroyers. Like, there's very few DDs out there that actually fuck with cruisers in a very, very timely manner. Like, for example, Haru gets the 30 pen by base, stuff like Ragnar too, so those ships can effectively fight cruisers, also because like their DPM is higher, or Ragnar has like the range effectiveness. So it can just sit 12, 13 km away from a Des Moines and just farm it for free if it's spotted, without mostly taking hits, especially with speed boost up. Gun spec, obviously, the modules are fairly obvious. It's always the same shit. Run Hydro mod though, if you have it. I mean, it is the best Hydro in the game. And on a DD, a 6 km Hydro is insanely effective. To be honest, the Hydro is so good that, for example, something like a Kagero, Yugumo, or Shimakaze, or Yamagiri, they actually get spotted by your Hydro before they get hard lit already. Like, I mean, that's kind of nuts. It's a very nice little gimmick you have there. But don't get yourself killed trying to Hydro out destroyers in caps or something. Only do it if you have a safe way of dipping behind an island, or if you can Hydro everything from the island already. Most of the times you still have to hope that your teammate makes use of, or like your team in general makes use of that, like that you're hydroing a DD consistently and forever, so the DD sets up to, the team sets up to farm the DD and kill the DD. So yeah, playing it with like a cruiser in division is probably more healthy in general. Like the cruiser could give you radar, you could give the cruiser the hydro. Also forward hydro on destroyers, like the German hydro especially. Like if I am forward on certain flanks with my hydro and I have it popped, there is no real reason for anyone behind me to take torps anymore. Like I can zone out torpedo DDs without even killing them. Like I completely negate their armament for, what is it, 2.5 minutes? That's 2.5 minutes. So that's kind of nuts. You kind of don't want that as a torpedo DD, having a German Hydro DD just like randomly playing on your flank and negating like 2 torpedo volleys completely. Because, I mean, even if they pass me at 4 km, I still spot them, which is kind of cool. Yeah. Kind of the same as Z-42 in terms of how it plays out, really. It's just a different flavor. Would even argue that it's a bit better than Z-52. Z-52 is kind of only fun because of the 32 base pen gimmick. Then again, the Z-52 has better AP penetration because it's higher caliber, and better AP alpha, but less AP DPM, and no improved penetration angle. Actually, does it get improved penetration? I don't even know if Z-42 gets improved pen. No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. I don't think it does. It gets it gets fast fuse AP, that's why you fuck destroyers super quick if they're close, even if they go flat broadside. Like that's the thing, I said it in the Elbing video, if you fight an Elbing in a DD, you have to change the way you attack the Elbing. You either have to angle perfectly in or out, or you have to give flat broadside on most DDs. On Z-42 it's exactly the opposite, like you angle very well, so the AP doesn't penetrate you. And you don't give flat broadside because that would allow the AP to pen and also fuse. That's the problem. Do they have radars? They have 2 radars. I mean, we will see what happens here, really. Annapolis is on the other side, so it could only be the Hydro. Oh my god, the Moscow. Why is he fucking there, dude? That's crazy. I'm a reverse quick fast. There you go. Okay, I have Hydro the Z-46. Actually, I out-Hydro him. He has 5-5. I think the tier 9. I have 6. Oy, pretty nice. I got my HP back. I mean, I could peek here with a smoke. Start farming a bit. Ah, he pops the radar randomly, even though he can't shoot me. That's kinda sus. Don't like it. I mean, the Hindenburg can't really open up to shoot me. Wait a minute. The DD that's there is running into the torpedoes. Huh? Why is he? Like, I'm spotted by the radar. He's like misaiming horribly, though. Don't decap me, please. Oh. What is it? Is it a daring? Why? I'm dead. Cool. Ah, they're in a division, right? Ah, yeah, you scumbag fucks. Okay. Well, I mean, I think both raiders are out. That's why there is no torps on my smoke, by the way. Now I understand. Now I understand, brother. Load AP. Maybe I get the YY spotted. Nope, I don't. But I can get the cap here anyways, but I have to disengage or dislodge from this rock. It's not worth it anymore to sit here. The Moskva is not gonna die on the rock. This is not something that my team farms out fairly effective. So I could torp that corner. Not something that my team would farm very effectively. I thought this guy would be spotted. How is he not spotted? He's on fire, isn't shit. He got citadelled, by the way, by a Shiki. It's pretty nuts. He DCP'd. Don't have spotting. Hello. Hey, you need intelligence data. Suck my dick. I want to get the cap while shooting people. Questionable what I'm going to do afterwards. This flank is kinda hard to play with the Moskva on the rock being the radar platform and the YY just zipping around probably trying to get angles on me. Not really what you want. I don't know why he does that. Ah, okay, whatever. I mean, fairly nice brain damage moment, not gonna lie. What the fuck did I just witness? He didn't really send torps my way, sadly. Would have loved to see torpedo. Oh, there they are. Conda's picking up it with Hydro. Okay. That guy should die in his Fritz. That's a given. I wonder if I can open water these fucks if the Fritz is behind an island. And or dead. Yeah, I can. And again, there's no spotting. Can they kill the Fritz? Is it possible? Was kind of sad that I didn't one-shot the YY in the beginning with the torpedoes. What do you do now? What do you do? There's still the Z-46 issue. And I don't have Hydro for now. I'm going to get it back in a second, so... I don't know, man, my GK and my Hinden, or like especially my GK don't want to like poke this stuff for us to perma-farm it out. La tête à Toto. It's a French guy. Thankfully I do have AFT. I can farm this guy even that far away. Very easy farming actually, because he's like stationary reversing. I'm going to smoke up though. The Hindenburg and the Izumo are both looking for me. It's kinda crazy. By the way, here you can see my HEDPM is dog shit as fuck. Like even if I would penetrate more, it's kinda like whatever. Wouldn't advise for this kind of spec. Here you at least get fires more consistently, which is a better way of fighting these battleships in any case. Oh, he randomly pops radar again. Questionable why though, really. Okay, DCP'd, so we switch farm to this. I am fairly far away. I got a fire on the Izumo, double fire, that's perma. Really shit farm, dude. You do not kill ships fast. You are very focused around cap contesting with the smokes and the hydro, not gonna lie. Maybe that guy didn't DCP, he just was perma flooding. Doesn't he have a heal? I wonder. Ah, don't tell me the Mosque was actually turning his turrets for me. Wow. Oh, that's amazing, dude. I'm very happy for your cringe reverse there to get AP shots on me. Nine. God damn it, this ship is underwhelming. The moment, like it's literally what I said, like the moment you don't really have to contest for this cap against DDs, it's kinda like shit to play it, really. It's not a fun experience. Like you're not dealing a lot of damage, the game impact is very limited. Don't even have the option of really twerping the moment there's a radar, because it's only 10 km toward. You don't want to really sit inside a radar. You're not a ship that disengages very well from radars at all. We're just awaiting repushing enemies at this point, by the way. Like the Z is dead, the Moskva is nearly dead, and there's most PVs are camping in the enemy base. So we just like want to wait it out where they will push, if they push. Don't really want to go in deep yet. Can't even get a kill, dude. Amazing. I don't know what our Conde is doing really. I think he has no real clue as to how he should play that. Guy just healed. But that radar is fairly useless, my friend. No one is gonna really save you at this point. Nope, you're just dead. Well, yeah, I mean, you have this... The Conqueror died in kite, Boric and the Conqueror kiting, even the Annapolis is kiting. Like, that's kinda sus. There's not really much for us to shoot, we just await as the enemy repushing. We go from a 90k damage game to most likely another 80-90k damage game. You will have options in this ship to get 200-250k damage if there's enemy BBs closer to you. More stationary fights, less AFK base kiters. You can get a whole bunch of damage in some games. That's why you will most likely end up getting... Oh, the DD is in the cap here, and I'm going to hydro him for free. There you go. Oh, and we got a heal here, because I hydroed him, spotted him. It's very nice. Yeah, that's the Conqueror that was diffed with the YY and the Moscow. That's very interesting. I'm actually debating if AFT is really the spec, by the way. I mean, it helps against SR battleships that are more stationary and can farm them out quite easily. Or like, more reliably. Watch this guy int on me with this hydro. He doesn't have hydro. Now he has it. Go forward real fast to dodge. I don't know what this is supposed to do. You can see 4k and dead. You fused all your AP there. It's the fast fuse on the AP is actually quite ridiculous against DD's close up. Like even something small and nimble like a jetland that, for example, in Elbing has a very hard time fusing on. This ship just shits 4 point something K into it with the first salvo. I mean, you can even, hell yeah, you can even get like 6, 7K volleys. Like, I think 6K is like the max on Haaland's close up. Like, you do really eat through destroyers close. The problem is just staying alive without heals. And I have Hydro for 50 more seconds. I could try and go for this submarine. I guess at this point, just fuck the battleships. I mean, they're just gonna kite in base for the rest of the fucking game. They don't want to play the game. So, yeah, whatever. I guess go for the submarine. Get the... Get the nice feeling of cucking the sub. This is a ship where I don't even like try to get high damage because I'm not gonna play it for any sort of... oh, hey there. I'm not gonna play it for any sort of... any sort of leaderboards or something, because I'm not gonna play this ship for 80 games most likely, so I'm just playing it a bit more objective than usual gunboats. And I also just feel like I actually do something if I play it objective, otherwise it's just like DPM is so dog shit and I don't know. The problem really is that your AP just doesn't penetrate a whole lot at medium to long ranges. So for example, if I have a 30mm 38mm side plating American BB flat broadside at 13 km stationary, I'm still not gonna penetrate it. I think the penetration is not enough, which just means like it's like on paper, yeah, cool, you have a lot of AP DPM, but like you're not really using it. You can't use it. It's like not good. Maybe I can penetrate this. No, I can't. Look, no penetrations. Oh. Look at it, I get no pens, flip broadside on a 32mm BB. Come on, dude. The penetrations now are superstructure pens. Now I think I'm starting to penetrate some... No, I'm not penetrating side plating. It's still superstructure, but it's unsaturated, so yeah. This guy might kill me with this volley, but whatever. Happy for you, my friend. Happy for you, camping in base. How much do we end up with? Do we reach 100? Do we reach 90? Yeah, we reached 90 exactly. So 2 90k games on Z-42. To sum it up, should you get it, once again, only if you have the spare steel. You should definitely get Ragnar, Stalin, Borg, Incomparable, Mecklenburg. Before that, probably Austin is even a more interesting ship, different flavor. Shikishima probably too. It's really, 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 really far down the list of steel ships you should get, and I don't know. It's an okayish addition to the game. It has game impact. It's in the middle of the pack. Like it does well at contesting in randoms and playing objective, but yeah, you're like a useful asset to your team if you play it right. Like no one would probably mold if you play your Z-42 as a cap contester and then like zone out the enemy DD and the torps, and then after all you farm a bit, get like 100k damage, and no one will complain. But you're not like a solo carry type of ship. It's very hard in this one. You really have to hope that the enemy team is a bit doo-doo to get high impact in that ship too. Yeah, well, I mean, get it if you have 100k steel laying around. To be honest, you have to keep in mind that there are very few steel ships being released. Like, they're very slow on that. So I would assume that lots of people can catch up with the steel through ranked and CBs, and also like the Christmas steel, the like super containers on the World of Warships birthday give you a bunch of steel. So I mean, if you play the game very actively, I think you should be able to have enough steel to get all the ships, because you're most likely gonna dodge shit like FDR and stuff. But yeah, I don't know. It's not something to brag about. It's not something you desperately have to have. There is no fear of missing out, or just don't have the fear of missing out, the FOMO. But yeah, see you in the next video.